Hey, Queen.
Hello.
How are
I
you?
am wonderful. How are you? Just making sure that my lighting is
I
good.
I did all of that before. I did all of that.
Yeah,
Did
it's like,
all of that.
yeah, I'm
I
in a
got my
house.
lighting right here.
Yes, girl. I have all my grandkids tonight. So I'm like in here. I'm like, okay, y'all, I gotta go do something. They're like, well, we ready to eat. I'm like, well, y'all gotta wait till I'm done. And then we
Well,
gonna eat.
you know how they are. And you know what? If I was them too, I'd have been like, listen, I'm hungry.
Listen,
Like,
I'm trying to be more intentional about spending quality time with my grandchildren. But then sometimes I forget there's three of them. So,
and you are a busy woman.
ooh, but gotta make time for family though. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? So,
absolutely. Yeah.
how are you?
I'm doing amazing. I'm doing amazing. I'm excited to be doing this live with you. I haven't been on live in years.
Well, listen, the people will love to see your face, and I'm sure they're happy to see us doing
I,
this live
you
together.
the star of the show. I'm just making sure that you shine,
Yeah.
That's all. Yes, you are the star of the show.
I
Yeah.
appreciate you, my love.
Absolutely. So I want to make sure that we jump right into it because I know we have only about 30 minutes. I
Yes,
have a couple of questions and then we're just gonna, interact with people as they come in, should they have any
yes,
questions, and just let you do your magic. So
yes,
first
yes,
things
yes.
first is that we know that you are an accomplished individual. You are a business owner, you're a fitness coach, you're a nutrition coach. You have been in the game leading organizations and teams, and you're a boss. How do you create balance in your life? We were literally just talking about you and your grandkids,
Yeah,
but what does that mean for you? What does that balance mean for you?
yeah. So, the word balance, I feel like has been a buzzword for the past few years for a lot of people. And as I dived deeper into my wellness and supporting others, I realized that the story many of us have been sold about balance is a lie, right? And so when we think about balance, we think this, right? We think all things equal, right? And that's not true because balance actually goes like this. So when I think about balance for myself, it's always important for me to one recognize the season that I'm in, right? Because sometimes you're like, oh, it's just too much right now. Well, guess what? What is the season that you're in? Are you in a growing season? Are you in a planting season, right? Are you harvesting this season? What's happening in that season of your life where you can recognize, all right, in this season of my life, here's what I can do. Here's what I have to say no to in order to achieve those goals. So, balance for me is setting the boundaries from my life, right? Recognizing, acknowledging, and respecting every season of my life and taking things as they come with joy, with grace, and giving myself that grace, right? To say, you know what? While I do want to do all the things, I have to do what matters. And that's what balance is. It's making space, time for what matters, not for everything, but for the things that matter most, right? But the other thing, right, that we think about when it comes to being balanced is being balanced doesn't mean you're not going to be busy. It doesn't mean you're
Mm,
not going to be overwhelmed,
I
right?
love
It doesn't mean,
that.
right? It doesn't mean you're not going to be tired. It doesn't mean you're not going to have days where you're pulling your hair out. That's not what it means. People see balance and go, oh, I don't understand. No, you
Mm-hmm.
can almost stay and still have noise, right?
Exactly.
But when you find yourself like, oh my God, I'm gonna tell you something. I am so busy. But what gives me peace is that I'm busy with all the right things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you find your balance. Yes, I'm busy, but everything I'm busy doing is aligned with my purpose. It's aligned with my passion. I'm not doing things that, oh, I don't really want to do this, but I guess I got no, right? And that's where the frustration and the depression and the anxiety comes in when you're doing things that ain't got nothing to do with you. right? Or you're not
Mm.
minding your business. And that's where you start to feel all the other things that really challenge your mental health.
Well, actually, I have the list of questions, but I want this to be so organic. So now that you
Yes.
just said that, I have a follow-up question for you. What
Mm-hmm.
about if you're in a season of your life where you have to do the thing that you
Mm-hmm.
don't want to do? You know what I mean? How do you find balance in that? Because, I mean, sometimes, like you said, as a
Yeah.
buzzword, a lot of people tend to think balance is like Zen and yoga and peacefulness and quietness, and that's not entirely true. So
That's not true.
what does it look like for you when you might be in a season where you have to be busy with things that in the moment you don't want to do, but you know
Yeah.
you have to do to get to the next season? And what can you
Absolutely.
recommend to other people
Yeah.
about that, you know?
So it's your perspective on the thing that impacts the experience in the thing, right? In the season. So if you're grunting and complaining and I don't want to do this and I hate this, then that you're gonna feel that in your body, right? You're gonna feel that stress in your body. You're gonna feel that
Mm-hmm.
frustration, that anxiety, that depression. But if you say to yourself, you know what? This is hard. And no, I really don't want to do this hard thing, but I know that it's this thing that's going to allow me to level up, that's going to allow me to step into that version of the life that I've been dreaming of, right? And then it makes that thing feel lighter. Even if it's not necessarily lighter, it's when you change your perspective, how you talk about it, how you choose to see it, how you're talking about it to other people, how you're talking about it to yourself will change the way you feel about it. We have more control over our energy than we think. And we give so much of our power away with those negative thoughts and those negative words about the things that we have to do to get to the place we want to be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Don't I know it? I mean, I can definitely relate, especially when I was in my MBA. I graduated 2 years ago, but throughout that 3 year journey, there were
Yeah.
times where I'm like, I could be doing this, I could be doing that, and doing this. And I'm like, there's a goal here, there's a goal
Yeah.
here, and your life isn't gonna look completely balanced. There goes that word again, right?
Right.
Right
Right.
now, but right now, this is the priority. So
Right.
we're gonna have to go with that. So thank you with
Well,
that. Because
success looks pretty, right? Success looks beautiful.
the
It,
end
it's
goal.
shiny, it glitters. But sometimes we look at other people too, and we're like, "Oh my God!" Like they look like they're living an amazing life, not thinking
Mm-hmm.
about they had to go through those things too. They had to
Mm-hmm.
go through the moments of being broke, right? They had to
Mm-hmm.
go through the
Mm-hmm.
moments of staying up late nights, through those moments
Mm-hmm.
of applying for job after job, or even working a lower level job until they get to the place that they want to be. Go through those moments of starting a business from scratch and not having to
Mm-hmm.
like nobody starts at the top, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so at the end of the day, you have to remind yourself that everything you're doing is for you. Like, yo, I'm worth this hard thing. I'm worth
Mm-hmm.
showing up for. I'm worth doing this challenging thing for because I know that the future version of me is going to be so grateful that I put in this work.
That right there, that's the key right there. It's like knowing about your future and your goals, right?
Yes.
And like that means that right now you might not be in balance entirely, but you're working towards this balance
Right.
for whatever your goal is and being able to achieve all the other things that you want to achieve.
But think
So,
about it like this.
mm-hmm.
You get to decide what balance is,
Ooh,
right?
this is true.
No one can make a decision. Balance doesn't have a look. It has a feel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you get to decide, am I balanced or imbalanced? And what do I need to do to move back into a place where I feel like I'm flowing? Because in balance, you flow, right? When you are out of balance, you're walking backwards, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
doing things that don't contribute to the future version of yourself. You're doing things that don't make you happy. You're doing things that don't allow you to feel um, at peace, right? Even though it's hard, it's like, yo, this is hard, but I'm at peace because I know what the outcome is going to be, right? I know what my desired results are. So you get to decide what that balance is. And again, it doesn't mean it's going to feel like, right? Because trust me, it very rarely feels like that for me. Every morning I wake up and like, all right, let's go, let's get up. But at the end of the day, I feel extremely balanced in every dimension of my life.
Well, I'm happy that you said that because my next question is actually talking about balancing health and mental health. So, like, you're like, hey, there are seasons in your life where you might not feel completely zen, but I mean, that's also the ebbs and flows of life. But
Yeah.
we see that you're such an amazing advocate for wellness
Mm-hmm.
and holistic wellness and mental wellness.
Yes.
And how do you see those two things connected to create balance for you? Because, yeah, we might be going through seasons of our life,
Right.
but how important is it to balance those things to help you get through those seasons?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, again, it goes back to recognizing where your control lies, right? And we release the things that we have no control over so we can focus on the things that we do. And so when we think about physical health and mental health, they go hand in hand. If one is out of whack, the other one's going to be thrown out of whack. So if your body is not healthy, if you're not eating well, if you're not exercising, moving your body in some way, then automatically it's going to impact the way you feel about yourself, right? Your self-esteem, your confidence, but more importantly, your energy to get up and do the things that you are working towards. And so
Mm-hmm.
when we're thinking about physical health, a lot of people get kind of stuck because they're like, well, I don't know what to do, so I'm not going to do anything. Or I'll start next week. Or I'm gonna start now. Well, you know what? I've already been doing so bad. I might as well just wait until and then start, right?
Sounds so
But
familiar.
right, but the more excuses that you make about maintaining your physical well-being, the more room you make for the anxiety and the overwhelm and the low self-esteem and the low confidence and the low energy, right? And so stop making room for things that you don't want by making time for the things that you do need, right? And
Yeah.
so that could look like, listen, some days if I don't get to the gym, I turn on a YouTube 15-minute and buzz it out right in my room, right in front of
Mm-hmm.
my bed, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be complicated. And because we're overcomplicating it, we're getting
Mm-hmm.
stuck. You're watching too many people on Instagram and their fitness videos and think, oh, if it's not like that, what am I doing? Right? But it could just be 15 minutes of movement in the morning, 15 minutes of movement. If you choose to say, I'm going to move for 30 minutes a day, 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the evening if you don't have a whole 30 minutes, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or 3 10-minute walks throughout the day. That's still 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You get to decide what it looks like. At the end of the day, though, you need to make a decision. If you want to have the energy, if you want to have the physique that you're hoping for, right? Because a lot of times, we're only thinking about physique, but physique matters because everybody likes to see when they look in that mirror, okay, plump, I see you, right? Like that's our reality. We're women. We
Absolutely.
want to feel sexy. We want to
Uh-huh.
look sexy, if even just for ourselves. I tell you one thing, I tell all my clients, I get butt naked every single day in front of that mirror and tell myself, girl, I love you. I rub my body, I massage my body.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I do that, the more I love myself, the more I'm dedicated to taking care of the body that I love, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to get comfortable in the skin that you're in, love it into the body you want to have.
Mm-hmm.
Don't wait, right? You have to love yourself into that place. The more you show up for yourself physically,
Mm-hmm.
also eating healthy meals
Mm-hmm.
daily, not only on Monday and Wednesday, right? But eating healthy meals. And as you start to feel better, right? You start to look better, you'll be like, wow, I can do this. And when you
Mm-hmm.
realize that you have so much power over how you feel and how you look, you realize that you have power to do almost anything. My fitness journey has empowered every other journey that I've been on, my business journey, right? Going to school, being a mom, because the hardest thing to do is show up for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But once you master that, right, you become a master of self. You can master anything.
And something that you just said is like once you start to see, especially when you see results, but even before that, when you realize that the micro decisions that you make every single
Everything.
day to choose yourself through movement and fitness and wellness results into this confidence,
Yes.
this love for yourself, you realize like, wow, I can literally make small choices
Small,
every day to make
small,
myself feel good about myself, right?
right.
To feel confident in my skin. I have always had an up and down fitness journey too.
Yeah.
And over the last year, I've really, I always said to myself, like, you get to the gym when you fed up with yourself. But that's because you keep letting yourself down,
Yeah.
right? And this year, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to commit to anything besides what I'm feeling in the moment. So I would just get up and go take a walk.
That's
Yeah,
it.
and I wouldn't put a time on it. I just walk until I have the time
Mm-hmm.
to walk. And then I'll be like, okay, that's enough. And then the next day. And here I am now being like, okay, let's think about the food now. Let's
Yeah.
think about the this now. Let's think about the that now.
Yeah.
Right? And then you start to realize that you can handle it all.
Okay.
But like you said, don't overcomplicate it. Start with simple movement.
Simple.
And then there's like science behind like serotonin being released
Mhm.
when you work out. Your hips aren't stiff, and as women, we carry stress in our hips, like I hear everything that you're saying there, and
All
I,
of the
I
things.
I would love for you to talk about how physical health has helped you release stress, and been an outlet for you
Right.
for stress, because as Black women, as much as we cheer each other on, as much as we're the backbone of the community and our families, we carry a lot of silent stress, and it's stored in
Absolutely.
our bodies. So
Yeah.
how has that helped you? I know you spoke a little bit about how it's helped every other journey. Could you give us an example on
Yeah.
something that you're like, actually
Absolutely.
directly affected that? Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say I don't know if it's necessarily the physical movement that has relieved the stress more than the self-love,
Mm.
right? Because self-love changes the way you think about yourself and the way you see yourself and the way you treat yourself, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so when I'm in there and I'm exercising and yes, I'm getting those endorphins and I'm sweating and I'm feeling really good, but I'm also like, girl, you going through all this stuff and you still showing up for you.
Mm-hmm.
You got so much work to do. You got workshops, you got
Mm-hmm.
speaking to do, you got these
Mm-hmm.
kids to take care of, and you still made time for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like those are the thoughts for me that relieve the stress that through no matter what I'm going through in life, I can still love on me. I can
Mm-hmm.
still choose me. I can still put me first. I'll tell you what the stress comes from is when we're stressed out and we put our wellness on the back burner, right? We're
Mm.
stressed out when we're going through a lot and we tell ourselves, okay, I'm gonna have to do that another time. That can wait until
So
once
true.
once all the people are taken care of. Once the house is
Mm-hmm.
clean. Once I get done with this project, as soon as I finish school, then I'll put me first. That's where the stress comes from because your body is saying, hey, boo, I'm here. I love
What
you.
about
Come
me?
back and love me back, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
that's the stress, right? But if you're saying to yourself, no matter what I go through, me first, right? That is being proactive because now when I face stress like Simba in the Lion King. You know what I'm saying? Raw. You understand what I'm saying? Because my cup is so full. My cup is so full that when stress comes, I have enough in me to handle the stress. The
Mm-hmm.
issue with most of us Black women is we're handling stress from an empty cup, right? And so now we're burnt out. We're
Mm-hmm.
burning the candle from both ends, right into the middle,
Mm-hmm.
until the body has made a decision to shut down. I can't do nothing now because you have ignored me for so long. Stress is a part of life, baby. You cannot
Mm-hmm.
avoid stress, it's inevitable, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's how you choose to handle or manage stress when it arrives in your life. And if you are well taken care of, baby, stress ain't got nothing on you. it ain't got nothing on you. You understand? You cannot eliminate stress, sis. You can't.
This is true, especially
You
not living
understand?
in America.
No, not is okay. Okay? You can't eliminate it. So the only thing you can control is how you show up for her. And the more
Mm-hmm.
you show up for her, those things that seem so, oh my gosh, will be like, all right, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. You understand?
Mm-hmm. So, if I was the person that said, hey, give me a quick, sustainable self-care routine to fit into my busy life, what would be the two things that you would tell me to prioritize immediately?
First thing
What are
I
those? What does
was,
that look
yeah,
like?
the first thing I would say is treat your life like a business.
Mm.
CVS ain't 24 hours,
Mm.
right? You need to have an open and a close time, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the world, I don't open till 9 a.m. for the world. I wake up at 4:30, but from 4:30 to 8:30, I'm pouring into me, fitness. I probably have a bubble bath in the morning, a
Mm.
ill breakfast, some meditation, some prayer, some reading, some journaling. The first few hours of the day are for me. And then I open for the public
Mm-hmm.
at 9, right? By 8 o'clock, I'm closed to the public, right?
Mm-hmm.
Treat your life like a business. People should not be able to access you all hours of the day. But what if there's an emergency? 911.
Sound like my grandmother.
Okay, I deal with emergencies when I'm well rested. Don't
Yeah.
call me. Call the
Mm-hmm.
people. Right? So that's the first thing I'm gonna say is set a time for what's just for you and for when you need to shut down so that you can continue to fill your cup. Take your butt
Mm-hmm.
to bed, sis. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Sleep.
Instagram's still gonna be there when you wake up.
Mm-hmm.
Netflix gonna be there. Hulu gonna be all the people. Everything gonna be there when you wake up. Take yourself
Mm-hmm.
to bed. Next, I would
Mm-hmm.
say plan. Listen, one thing I've learned is a person that fails to plan plans to fail, right? And that can be as simple as what am I going to wear tomorrow? Plan it out, right? Because as women, we know we wake up and oh my God, what? Right? Now you don't spend 30 minutes trying to figure out an outfit that from the night before you could have laid that out, gave yourself a
Mm-hmm.
peace of mind.
Mm-hmm.
Check your calendar before you go to bed. What do I need to do tomorrow? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now it's already in your psyche. Okay, I know what I need to do, how I need to be prepared for my day ahead. And this is something a lot of people struggle with is planning, right? Meal prep, like all the planning. Planning
Meal
is the
prep.
key
Mm-hmm.
to success. It is the key to your success. You have to have a plan in place. You can't just be like, okay, maybe today I'll walk. No, I'm going to walk 3 days a week on this day at this time.
Yeah.
That's the plan,
Yeah.
right? And then don't give anybody permission to change the plans that you make for yourself. When people say to me, Carmen, can you do this? Nope, that's my nap time. You have another time you want me to do that? They be like, you can nap time. I'm sleep at that time. I take a 15-minute nap. My girlfriend be like, Carmen, you got 10 minutes? Right after my nap, sis, I'll text you if you're still available.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Don't be afraid to say, this is my time for me. So those are the two top things I would say is treat your life like a business, open and close. What is it? Lastly, plan. Plan your meals, plan your outfits, plan your dates, right? Like I go on solo dates, those things are planned. Plan your life simply because you deserve to be planned for, baby. Right? Like
Mm-hmm.
if you was in a relationship with somebody, you want I want them to plan for me. You can't be expecting stuff from other people that you're not willing to do for yourself.
This is true. Thank you for
Right?
that. That gem.
Okay?
Okay.
You want time and attention and affection and
Mm-hmm.
intention, but you're not doing
Mm-hmm.
none of that for you. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
You blocking your blessings,
Mm-hmm.
sis.
I love that. I will say, I have made a plan for fitness, but I will say with balance and seasons and lives, one thing I do is what's the day ahead of me looking like. So
That's
if
right.
I had already had a plan and I had, let's say I double booked my plan and I wanted to commit to fitness, I go, what can I take off my schedule to commit to this?
Yeah.
Or what am I committing to this today then?
That's right.
Something has to change because I have to prioritize it. I am learning that in this season of my
That's
life as I
balance.
get busier. I'm like, okay, I can't
That's
give it
right.
up, but I need to figure, I can't give up me time.
That's right.
So I need to figure out
What
where
do I need
it's
to move
going to
around?
go.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Things got to shift,
That's it. And that's
and maybe that
balance.
doesn't, yeah, maybe that doesn't look like something in which we can actually, like immediately decide, but in the moment, like sometimes people feel like, oh, I have to commit to this time all the time. Okay, well, life might not look that way, but
That's
you
right.
still have to show up for yourself.
That's right.
Still have to show up. Okay, so I wake up early in the morning. Okay, so I wake up, I stay up later at night. Okay, so that thing I committed to that isn't really a commitment has to go.
Right.
So
And
yeah,
that's
I
giving
would
yourself
absolutely say that.
grace, right?
Yeah.
Like
Oof.
that
Talk
is giving
about the
yourself
grace
grace,
part of
right?
that. Right.
Because my alarm clock is set for 4:30 every single morning.
Bless your
And
heart.
as soon as I wake up, I start reading. But for the past couple nights, I've been waking up in the middle of the night, can't go to sleep. So you know what I do if I wake up in the middle of the night and can't go back to sleep? I roll that baby to 6 a.m. I guess I won't be reading this morning, right?
Yes.
I guess I won't be doing journaling this morning because guess what? You know what? I prefer to get my sleep. And
Right.
I don't need to beat myself up because I didn't read this morning because I
Mm-hmm.
chose to say, you know what, I'm going to choose some sleep. And so understand that life happens, right? We know life be life, and okay. But giving yourself grace, your wellness journey is about love. It's not about punishing yourself, beating up on yourself if you didn't make that goal this week. It's like, okay, what can I do different next week? What
Yeah.
support do I need? What shifts do I need to make in my schedule, like you said?
Exactly. And you're still showing up for yourself in a
That's
different
right.
way. Yeah.
That's
Because you're like, hey,
right.
it's not going to be that, but it's going to be sleep because
It's
sleep is
right.
very important. You
Oh,
know.
very. For all the things I do, and I don't drink coffee. So it's like I choose sleep and I sleep as often as I can, which is why I take naps throughout the day
Mm-hmm.
because I need my energy. I pour out a lot, right? So that's how I take care of myself.
I love that. And we have about 2 more minutes, and I see people coming in and coming
Yes.
out. So please,
Bye,
everybody, if you have
everybody.
exactly, and if you have any questions or comments or concerns, well, I hope you don't have any concerns about putting yourself first. But should you have any questions, feel free to keep dropping them in the chat. We're just free flowing here and having a conversation. And in the last 2 minutes, I would love, Carmen, for you to breathe life into everybody that's watching and let them
Yes,
know that they are valued. Because you do a really good
yes,
job at that. When I was
yes.
at your brunch, I was like, you know what? I feel full leaving. You know what I mean? I was like, wow, I didn't know I was coming to church. I thought I was going to brunch. You
Listen,
know what I mean? So I would
listen.
love for you to take a
Yeah,
moment and give everyone your words of wisdom and
yeah,
encouragement because today is Wednesday and it's the middle of the week, and maybe someone might not be kind to themselves
yeah.
today, and maybe someone might not be giving themselves grace today,
Yes.
and maybe they don't know what self-care looks like for them today. What would you say to that person?
Well, the first thing I want to remind you all is that being a Black woman is magical, all by itself, right? Just the very essence of Black women is magical. However, you're in control of your magic, and you cannot spread your magic and share your magic in the world if you are not taken care of. And some of you may say, well, but I still go out and do the things. But are you doing it to your full capacity, sis? Imagine what you would do if you was well taken care of mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. Imagine what you could be. Imagine what you could accomplish if you were well taken care of. I'll tell you that a lot of things in life come against our ability to take care of ourselves, because when we take time for ourselves, it may be seen as selfish, right? It may be seen as, oh, she's taking a nap, she's being lazy. Guess what? You cannot pour from an empty cup. And I know that we hear that over and over and over again, but you have to tell yourself, if I'm feeling depleted, what will it take to refill? Right? And that starts with you learning, first of all, who you are, what feels good to you. And then finding time and energy to do more of the things that feel good to you. When it comes to exercise, it doesn't have to be complicated, baby. Go twerk, okay? Go do some dancing. Go jump some rope. Like, it doesn't have to be. I love jumping rope. I will jump rope. I will go for a jog. I will bust out some music and start dancing in a heartbeat, right? Like, find the things that bring you joy. Find people in your life that bring you joy, that will encourage you to take care of yourself. Because I'll also say this: if anybody gets upset with you for putting yourself first, them is not your people, my sister. Right? And that's how I said it. Them is not your
Them is
people,
not
my
your
sister.
people.
Them is not your people. All right, you have to have people in your life that want to see you well, and those are the people that are going to encourage you. But that encouragement has to come from you first. You have to believe that you are worthy enough to show up for yourself. And I know it's not easy, but one day at a time, my sister. One day at a time. You start showing up for yourself. Do something nice for yourself today. Just take that walk. Tomorrow you can be like, oh, that felt good. Today I'm going to do something else. And continue to build on those small habits until they become things that you cannot see yourself living without because of how full you have become. Do it simply because you are worthy. I love you. I see your worth. And I'm going to go ahead and pour some of this love right over there into you, sis. Take it, use it, leverage it, and take care of yourself.
Oh my goodness, that was so amazing. And while you were talking, someone in the chat asked, how do you feel when when you feel like you're outgrowing somebody, you're outgrowing people? You were talking about
Look at
they're
that.
not your friends. Those people aren't,
No.
how
And here's the
do you
recompense,
deal
right?
with that?
Some people for a season
Mm.
and for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just ended a relationship that I was in for a past year because it stopped feeling good to me. I don't need that, right? And here's the thing: the longer you stay in a place where you don't belong, you block the places that you're going. You block
Mm.
your blessings. Everything that's trying to come to you is being blocked by holding on to people that don't serve you, baby. The people that's trying to get into your life that want to fill you up, girl, that want to pour into you, that want to love on you, that want to make time and space for you. They sitting over there like, I wish you would tell them to move because I'm trying to come through and I can't get there. There's too much traffic. Let them go. They will be totally fine, honey, and you will be even better
Ooh.
without them in your life.
Like I know. It's definitely it's always a challenge, but like you said, you block your blessings, and if you put you first,
Listen,
you
there's
will
one thing I'm
always
gonna say
know.
before we wrap
Yeah,
up. I'm a spiritual
absolutely.
person. I'm a spiritual person, and I trust in what God has for me.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times, the reason why we hold on to things that aren't serving us is because we don't believe, we don't trust, and we don't have faith that there is something greater and bigger waiting for us. You have to increase your faith, baby, and trust that there is so much more for you than what you're settling for. It's also the reason why we don't take care of ourselves. We don't exercise. We tell ourselves we're too busy. You know why you're saying you're too busy? Because you think that you're in control of your destiny. So you're not making the time. When God said, make time for what matters, I'm going to take care of everything else. That's why I can take a nap in the middle of the day, baby. I already know God took care of business. You
Ooh.
understand? Trust and believe that everything you need is on its way, but you got to let go of the things that are not serving you. You are blocking your blessings.
Thank you so much for breathing life into us today,
Yes.
teaching us that balance is a journey. You have to make decisions every day to be balanced, and them is not your people.
Them is not your people.
I'm leaving, and also that twerking counts
Yes,
as exercise. Thank you
it does.
so much.
Do you see how you sweat when you twerk? Oh my God.
It's
Oh, it
so
counts.
true. It's so true. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Carmen. Thank you, Queen, for breathing life into us. There are people in the chat that are laughing, that are praising, that are saying that they love that. Thank you so much for giving us your time. And we will conclude the live now so that you can get to your grandbabies,
Thank you.
because I know
I'll
they'll start
see
to
you
bugging
guys
you
again.
soon. Thank you so much. Have a
All
good
right.
one.
Have a good night. Talk to you soon, sis.
Bye.